Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Casting the Spotlight episode number 135, and it is our first follow-up episode after the 5-year anniversary spectacular.
Been 5 long years, my man.
5 long years, 50 individual.
Years, really.
Yeah, well, 50 individual. The days run long, but the years have run fast, you know?
Oh, yeah.
50 individual guests brought on, some of them more than once, some of them in a group setting, some of them in our wrestling podcasts, but we've brought in 50 individuals over the course of our 5 years, and at times it was slower rolling than others. There's a couple years there where our number of episodes took a beating compared to what they do now, but tonight is our 21st of the year, so we are still putting in the work.
We're legal in 2024.
Yep. Whereas before it took a while to even get to the 21st episode.
Yeah.
I actually looked at that and I was like, no, I was kind of incorrect. I mean, our celebration was most like our 1 year around the 21st episode. But whenever I looked back at the dates that we posted them, it was sometime in between like Laney's episode on 22 and then 23. But neither one of those did we kind of orchestrate or celebrate like it was an anniversary. So we don't really have an official 1 year. I mean, in terms of the way we kind of built it, 21 was kind of big. And, obviously Laney was the first time her appearance was.
Yeah.
But we didn't really build, per se, any of those episodes, 21, 2, or 3, like they were the 1 year,
No.
So I don't really know which one we would say that was, but I mean, still, nonetheless, like every year we've had some great guests in here on the anniversary episodes. So those ones for the 1 year, for the 2 year, it was Stevens. He was our logo creator, our best buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Our 3 year was James Brady, Savannah Stone. Some wrestler friends of ours came in to make their debut. That was an extraordinarily deep. And the last episode we had when we were at the apartment was 45, and then was the next year was Kyle, and that was Kyle's fourth solo episode, which he still holds the record for like longest minutes on the pod. Most solos is tied with Andy now. And he's like the 4-hour man. He's went 4 hours every time. Every episode, and he's only broken his own record.
Yeah.
And then leading all the way to this year, whenever Corey was our special guest for our 5-year anniversary. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that episode, but we intend to keep plugging away,
Yeah, it is kind of true. We didn't really make as much of a big deal out of the first year anniversary. It wasn't like, at that point we were just like, we need to be putting episodes out. We were still trying to get it down and get on a schedule and get consistent. It still took a while from there, but
I think it was a weird thing too, where we were trying to figure out. I mean, we had gotten down how to release them, when to release them. We didn't even consider releasing the first one up to that point, even though we had revived and released the second one. But I think I had to do some digging and go back and actually figure out exactly when the day was that we recorded the first one anyway. So I don't think we were in any position to announce what day it was the year prior that we did it. I feel like for the first 6 months we did the podcast, or 12, even maybe closer to a year, we probably didn't even know what day it was. Maybe longer. We didn't even know for sure what day. We knew it was sometime in June, sometime in around that time, based on when we had shot.
We didn't know what day it was, just in general, which we might not have at that point in time in our lives. I probably didn't.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird though too, because we didn't have the name, as we said in the episode prior to this, in Corey's one. We didn't have the name until the 3rd episode. We didn't introduce the good, the bad, and the shits until I want to say at least maybe 6 or 7, something like that. We didn't even use music until 5. We didn't launch it really until 5. We didn't have a guest until 10. So every time we went about it, we had different layers and different layers. And for the longest time, we weren't that upwards on the amount of episodes we made, so it didn't seem like some of them were that major of jumps. We didn't have our universal mic until episode 14. So basically, we would just make a little bit of headway, and then we got our consistency down, it was like, you know, it took a while to even get there. But if you look back, like there's time markers that everything really began to take shape and change. But
Yeah, it's kind of funny to think that we've been pretty consistent on it now the past, almost couple of years.
mm-hmm.
But there for a minute, it just felt, which is wild, because when we were in more close proximity with each other and we didn't have to make maybe it was making the special trip, because it was like, oh, you know, it's an actual thing that we have to plan every week.
Yeah.
And it's a chance to like get together and hang out and shoot a podcast, you know? Whereas when we were living together, it was kind of just like we were just kicking back, you know? And it was the pandemic, so it was like, there was just less motivation in the world, you know?
It almost felt more of like a chore in a time that we were just trying to hang out and like do our thing and like sometimes eat podcasts, whereas like now it's purposeful. We plan it and plot it with guests ahead of time and everything, and get it done like in an organized manner. Whereas before it was like, you know, it just kind of got away from us because every time just chilling and like just relaxing in our own area and not having something like that we had to worry about, it's like that always won over sitting down and like putting effort into like doing something like that, you know, unfortunately. But I mean, it is what it is, and like regardless, you know, we still released episodes every one of those years, you know.
Yeah, there was still a few. And it's not like it was just one. Like, we would still make the effort multiple times, but it was not like, it was more of an event when we released an episode then. Now it's like, you know, we're plugging away every week.
Honestly, like, we outdid ourselves with the last year we released episodes, because that was like 47. That's damn near every week of the entire year. And it's like, you know, whether we take a day off, whether we do, you know, whatever, it's like, that's kind of a hard feat. Like, right now, we've beaten 2019, 20, and 21 already in 2024. But we still got 12 more to do after this, I believe, because this is 21. Yeah, we still got 12 more to do after this before we even tie 2022. And like, you know, and that's doable, obviously, because we still have several more months and more than half the year left at this point.
Oh, yeah.
But what we set for ourselves for last year, like, that was a pretty incredible feat. Like, we covered beginning to end every stretch of the year. You know, every holiday. We talked about the football season. We talked about, like, when the Walking Dead spinoffs came out. We had people on for their second appearance, for their third appearance. We, you know, we did all that. We didn't even count our appearance on Comic-Con or anything like that, you know. I mean, that was more of like a special, you know.
Yeah.
I guess we could have gone back and released that, or we really even still could at some point. But in terms of what we usually talk about, I feel like we were more vague too there in terms of the discussion we had, because it was more to a broad audience that doesn't normally listen to us, rather than, oh, they're listening, they're a normal listener, let's just jump right into the stuff we usually talk about.
It's just kind of like an overview of, oh, this is what the podcast is kind of about.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of which, did you see what they had this year though?
Yeah.
Did you see any of the guest art? The
And
the director.
And the director, yeah.
And like, I know that's like more of a newer kind of slasher ensemble of fucking, you know, just it's gotten over with like at least the horror community of people, like people like it and everything, but it's still a very young.
Oh yeah, it's fresh.
It's a very young concept.
Like 2016, and then it took a while. Like 2 didn't come out till like 2022.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty big, and like the guy that plays the Josh Keaton, maybe the guy that plays the Spectacular Spider-Man in like the animated show and everything, like he's there too. I'm like, god damn. But they're starting to unload the guests and everything, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, hopefully they get hopefully there's some more cool ones.
Yeah, I hope so too. It was really cool even going around there and like checking out the art and
I thought about
looking
like
at everything.
That's the thing though. It's not that I'm not into the Terrifiers. I watch them and I enjoy them, but they're not like, I feel like I'm not as like crazy about them as this. Like, it's kind of already got this cult following, and I'm like, I'm sure that
they're fun.
Watch these for years to come. Like, I'll still enjoy them, but I'm not on that level that some people are with them right now, where It's like it's the new hot thing in horror.
But I appreciate that. I'm like it's been kind of waiting, and I realize there's movies coming out all the time. Like you do reviews on them a lot, but like there needed to be something really fresh that kind of started to garner the attention of the slasher horror part of the community. You know what I'm saying? Like I like and appreciate that has gotten attention because it's like a newer concept that's starting to get it. That's not relying on all. And I love all the old ones. I mean, we watch all the stuff every year generally, or at least a few of each franchise and everything, if not the whole thing. But I really do like that it's still pretty new and it's a lot of people are watching it. You know what I mean?
That is enjoyable, especially because it was like an independent film to begin with. Like All Hallows Eve and the first Terrifier were like they had the fun. Like I think they got some funding from like Shudder, but Shudder was even like a new concept at that point. So it was kind of like just a fresh thing in horror, anyways, and it was like an ultra-violent slasher, but a nod to kind of other slashers, you know, that came before it too. And it had all the elements. And I mean, even in the second one, they upped the ante because that Sienna or Sierra or whatever her name was, girl, she was like a dope final girl. Remember? She like fought back and shit. Became a badass.
It's even though it's got its
costume she wore, she looked like the warrior. The whole movie, basically.
Even though it's got its kind of cult following, but it's in a larger point of view, though, it's still not. It's not like it's known by that many people. You know what I mean? Outside of
the community.
Yeah, it's and that's like this. And there's certain people that like horror, but they fucking do not like slashers. You know what I mean?
There's people that like. I feel like.
So it's a pretty niche. It's pretty niche of a niche.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, even though it has gotten more popular. Sorry.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's definitely gaining a big cult following, but it's not like super mainstream yet at this point.
It's hard to imagine it would be.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like there's a sort of genre of horror. I mean, all these movies fall into other genres, but like I call them like safe horror, where there's just like movies where you're like, you could throw this on with any audience, and like even if they didn't like it, it would be passable. You know what I mean? Where it'd just be like a lot of the supernatural ones are like that. I feel like you could throw on a lot of the.
What's a good one you would say, for example?
Maybe like Insidious, Sinister, things like that, where it's just like they're passable movies. Even if they're not like somebody's favorite, or people don't really like horror movies, they'll watch it, they'll get into it, they'll get kind of scared. But like, there's certain movies where you're just like, this is a certain audience. Like, a lot of slashers fall into that category too. Like you can't throw on like a dirty, grimy 80s slasher movie and you like expect everybody in the room to be into it. If you throw it on at like a get together, like, oh, let's watch Friday the 13th, part 6. Like, some people are probably going to be like, oh, this is kind of entertaining, but other people are probably going to be like, what the fuck is going on here? This is dumb shit. Or like Saw or Hostel or a lot of the Eli Roth movies, like things that, like on that spectrum, like things that are just brutal. You're like, not everybody's going to be into this.
It's hard to watch any movie with a room full of people. I know what you mean, but like with a room full of people though anyway, because like we've tried it and like, unless like that's already the vibe and then people come in after, it's hard to, even 6 people or 8 people, it's like impossible. Because
it's background noise.
People are not going to like pay attention to the movie. Like they'll watch it in passing and then, kind of just talk and stuff, but it's not.
I mean, that's fine though. There's movies that are good for that. Like you can sit down and watch them and enjoy them, but like you're like, oh, this is a good movie to throw on when a group's over. Not everybody has to pay attention ever. People can be talking, hanging out, having fun, but like if somebody stops and watches for a little bit, they'll have a good time. A lot of comedy movies are like that.
Speaking of comedy movies,
Yeah.
you want to jump into a new segment?
Yeah, we can check it out. What do we got?
A brand new segment. Do you want to go first, or you want me to? Well, for our audience that
Let's
doesn't
tell
know,
them about it here.
it's obviously not. They might be watching. They might be listening. We obviously have the good, the bad, and the shits. We've had a movie review segment way back when. If you're a long-time listener,
Yeah, man, we could do that.
We
again
could.
At some point.
No, we definitely could. It was a good idea.
Movies that I could definitely suggest to you.
But we had an idea that maybe we could do a certain category and have the other one of us pick between two things. We have a main thing, and then we have a list of things to compare that thing to. And this could be same as the good, the bad, and the shits. We could do this about movies, a certain genre of films. We could do it about movie characters. We could do it about athletes, sports teams. You could do it about wrestlers. You could do it about just about anything. So I'll give you one topic, and then I'll give you 10 topics, and you got to pick between the original thing versus all 10 of these. One versus one.
So here's what. Okay. So it's always going to be the original thing against the other thing?
Yeah.
Well, goddamn.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, my thing was like, I feel like it could be interesting if a certain thing beats the thing, then that's the thing that goes up against the next thing. But I get, yeah.
I kind of see what you mean. Like almost like a gauntlet style of topics.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't know. Now you're putting me in the spot here. I had an idea.
I know, and in my head, I guess that's the way I thought.
Is that? Yeah, I was gonna say it's a hard concept. I mean, it's not really that hard to explain, but it's kind of, you list like one thing, and then you.
Because that's the thing. If that's the thing, I might switch my original movie then from what I thought it was. If we're just gonna go with the one thing against everything else.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, do you want me to just go first? We can pause it after I get done with mine if you want to, and then you could if you want to rearrange it, unless you can do that in the meantime.
Yeah, I might be able to.
But yeah, it's just kind of an idea, like to introduce and reiterate certain ideas on this pod from time to time. Obviously, tonight will be the 124th edition of the Good, the Bad, and the Shits. Can you believe that? You believe it's been 35 episodes since your dad was on episode 100?
That's wild.
Yeah, 30 fucking 5. Damn, but we did that like September last year, so it kind of makes sense.
Good.
And then I was gonna say I didn't know that's not a bad idea. But hey, this is our first go around with this segment, so if we find a better way to do it, it could be interesting if we change it up at some point.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. This is the first time. Basically, it's not really a lightning round because we can kind of comment like the good, the bad, and the shits, but this is very subjective, and it's not quite the discussion that the good, the bad, and the shits has. We still will be getting to that in our second part of the show here tonight. Mm-hmm. But our main thing for you tonight is this is the end. Okay. That's our main film.
I love that one too.
Our category is comedy.
Such
movies.
An ensemble, dude, because it's got like so many people in it that I like.
It is.
So many good comedy actors.
So we can do kind of various different categories in this, and I listed some of them. But I mean, we could do foods, we could do drinks. I thought about like beers. You could do, if you really wanted to, a lot of things that can be categorized in that sense.
Oh yeah.
That you have a whole list to compare stuff to.
The thing is, though, we know each other.
Yeah.
So in certain ways, when it comes to some of our like favorite things, we kind of know our preferences for things.
My issue with the way you were saying it is, it'd be hard to switch up your list in the middle of it if something took over for that thing. Like, because what if the other four things that you have, if say the fifth one did beat it, what if the other 4 things are absolutely no shot to beat that last thing? You know what I mean?
Well, then you just have to structure the list in a way, because that's whenever I thought that we were doing it that way. Like
Yeah.
I structured the list in a way where I was like, well, this could be a good competitor because I think he might pick that over.
Oh, okay.
But
interesting.
it is a little harder to structure the list.
We can discuss it that way. I was just gonna see what you prefer, or if you prefer this over these other
that's
movies,
fine, though,
or
'cause
if you.
It might be able to allow the topic to last longer this
Mhm.
way.
Did you have 10 things on your list?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I have. All right, so the topic is This Is the End. We're gonna start here. This is fresh. This is raw, uncut. Like we barely fucking discussed this off air.
Obviously, we're
If
discussing
anybody-
it right
We're
now.
discussing it on air. So This Is the End. It's got James Franco, Seth Rogen, fucking Jonah Hill, Danny
Oh,
McBride, Craig Robinson, Jay Baruchel. It's got a lot of big and a lot of people.
Appearances from Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
Aziz, freaking Michael Cera, Rihanna.
Yep.
So many people are in that movie.
Fucking what's
Jason
her name?
Segel.
Hermione.
Yeah, Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. All right, so this is the end. All right, so this is basically a make me pick segment. What are you gonna choose? We don't have a name for this officially, just like the good, the bad, and the shit. So we didn't have a damn clue when we introduced that. If you're a long time listener back in like the fucking single digits.
Yeah. This
Alrighty.
is tough, man.
This is the end versus Superbad.
Already. Like, already the toughest one, maybe.
It probably might be.
You know, I think just because it was such, like, it was the 2000s generation of coming of age film, I gotta pick Superbad. Like,
I would probably agree. Barely.
Like, yeah. This Is the End was fantastic, but Superbad was like one of those comedies that, like, it's raunchy, it's offensive, but at its core it has a heart. Like it,
I agree.
and I think it'll last for generations to come. Like, even if it's one of those movies that's a little like, ooh, you know, this could be
Yeah.
like, I feel like people are still gonna watch it, you know, like 40 years.
I do
from now.
think at its soul, it's definitely a quality.
It'll
movie.
be like the 80s comedies are to us.
And it got good ratings. I mean, so did This Is the End, which is crazy. Whenever This Is the End came out, side note, I thought it was gonna get shit on. I was like, the graphics, the stuff, like the acting, like certain aspects of it looked
was
exactly
hilarious,
like
though.
something that critics were gonna hate. It got like an 84%. I was like, what?
Because they're funny as fuck.
Oh,
and
they
it was
were.
all the big time comedy people at that time, like, in a movie together.
I kind of thought that could maybe be the hardest, but we'll see. We got 9 other things to go through. This Is the End versus The Hangover.
This is the end.
Okay.
And the thing is, I don't mind The Hangover. Like, I
Yeah.
do enjoy it when I watch it. I feel like, one, the concept kind of got beaten to the ground. Did they need 3 hangovers? Questionable.
I was entertained by all 3 of them. Oh, man.
But yeah, the first one was funny. There were some funny moments, dude. The Mike Tyson fucking knockout to the Phil Collins
Mhm.
song. That's still a moment that I remember.
It was whenever the first one came out, it was a pretty original comedy still. It came out in like 2009.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was the 2000s decade was
Oh, they killed it.
unstoppable
The
in comedy
90s
movies.
were too. The 90s killed it and the
Yeah.
2000s killed it.
Oh yeah, beginning to end, like it was fucking fantastic. So you take, okay, This Is the End, super bad over This Is the End, but This Is the End over The
Zach
Hangover.
Galifianakis in The Hangover, though, he was fantastic in that too.
He was, no, he was. He was in a movie called Ice Cold, or something like that. In like, was it Ice Cold or was it? It was something like that in fucking 2000 or 01, or Out Cold. That's what it was. It was like a snowboarding movie, and I don't remember seeing him from like anything, from like 2000 or 01 till like The Hangover.
Well, and then his career like took off after
Yeah.
The Hangover for
Yeah.
like 5 years.
Set him for life.
then
He was in a
still
lot
had-
of shit
He
after
still had
that.
Between Two Ferns.
He was in Due Date.
Hilarious.
He was in Due Date with
he
Robert
did. He had
Downey.
that run after The Hangover.
Okay, This Is the End versus Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies, but I don't know if it is my favorite Adam Sandler movie.
It's probably mine to this day.
Like,
And I know it has and I wouldn't necessarily
I
say
think a lot of people would say that
some
one
people
of his
would.
better
Yeah.
ones.
I would say
Or his
most
best
people would put it in their top 3.
Yeah.
But I don't know if for sure that's number 1. A lot of people like Billy Madison, The Longest Yard,
Yeah.
fucking.
I really like Mr. Deeds. I feel like that one's underrated.
It's probably underrated.
And Big Daddy I thought was underrated. I think I'm gonna pick This Is the End again. I really do.
You like it?
It's hard to like. I don't know though, because I like that's another one we were talking about earlier, where it's just like easy, casual watches. Like I could always flip on Happy Gilmore and like not have to pay full attention, but always be like thoroughly entertained when I am paying attention. You know.
So This Is the End. This Is the End versus Tommy Boy.
Dude, it's gonna be hard to beat. This Is the End, man. Super
Well,
bad,
you're
dude.
2-2 so far.
But
Or actually, no.
1 and 3.
1 and 3, yeah.
But-
okay.
And I do like Tommy Boy too, but I feel like I've just seen This Is the End a lot more.
Yeah.
Tommy, like
This is a good way to sell somebody on the movie too that we pick, or whatever the category is, because if we pick it over like a bunch of the things,
it's just such an ensemble. They got to improv some of that shit.
Mhm.
This Is the End is one of those movies where I'll look up specific scenes from that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And just fucking die.
it was fantastic
When I need to pick me up.
that Danny McBride was 3 out of 4 seasons of Kenny Powers and Do It.
Yeah.
And that is the character essentially that he brought into that movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, he was a much bigger part of that because of some of the roles he had been casted in. I'm like, I love that he felt that much big time. And like Craig Robinson's been in a lot of shit. Like Jay, he wasn't horrible, but I didn't see him in nearly as much stuff as the other guys, you know.
Mhm.
But that is just an all-time cast. Okay, This Is the End versus Step Brothers.
This Is the End. Step Brothers was good.
It's overrated.
Yeah.
A lot of people are gonna hate me for that.
No, there's a lot of comedy movies I feel that way about, though. I feel like there's a lot of underrated comedies that I enjoy that kind of got shit on or aren't as well liked or known. And there's some really popular ones that I'm like, this was good, but it got so beaten to the ground that I am not as enjoyable of it.
Like, let's be frank.
Step Brothers was, dude,
it was fun.
John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell's chemistry was fantastic.
It was funny. It wasn't even the best comedy the year that it was made.
What was?
Pineapple Express.
Yeah. I enjoyed Pineapple Express more, but all those movies are going to be, we don't even got to get into it, but tainted a little bit now for a lot of people. But I still enjoy them. And I
mean,
know that can be seen
but no,
one
but
way or
I don't
another,
know if
but
that's the case. Listen, I just watched, and this is gonna sound, what like, okay, so Piers Morgan, controversial guy, gets some insane interviews with people, and he's sometimes an asshole.
Because he can be confrontational in a way that people will respond to.
He's sometimes an asshole, and he used to be, not that politics really have to do with it, but I'm pretty sure he used to be very, like, because he was previously, he very much had, like, a lot of, like, leftist, like, or kind of seemingly far leftist point of views on things, and I feel like he's eased up the last 5 to 10 years, not that that has a lot to do with it, but I've definitely heard his tone change with things compared to what he used to be. But for some reason, just like Dr. Phil, except he's more controversial than Dr. Phil, he gets interviews with some fucking wild, like, it's wild, the people that are like, oh yeah, I'm down. He's gotten interviews with serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten interviews with just like Dr. Phil, or like people that are victims or whatever else. So he did one, side note, with Kevin Spacey just like 5 days ago. Watch it. And I would recommend almost anybody out there to watch it, because there's a lot of things, and I'm not saying like this guy is, I'm not obviously, like, I'm not saying this guy is guilt-free. He even admits he's not in the video, but he was actually acquitted of all charges that people, basically prosecuted him for. There was no evidence. There there was nothing to prove a lot of the stuff that happened. Could he be kind of a weird guy behind the scenes? I bet a lot of Hollywood is.
Dude, Hollywood,
But
and I'm not saying everyone involved in it is, but
No.
a lot of Hollywood is just creepy and weird.
but
They don't live in the same society we do.
this guy over an hour, almost an hour and 40 minutes.
I mean, I get the gist of what he kind of like was talking about in the interview, but I haven't like watched the interview.
He is a gay man, and obviously there's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
he was perceived to have a certain attraction to
Have you
younger
tried
men and all this kind of stuff. But he actually explains it in thorough detail. I would encourage almost anybody to listen to it, and that, like, if you want to judge it and still think whatever you think about it, whatever, that's one thing. But I would encourage everybody to listen to it. He's broke right now. He kind of feels like
that's what I heard from the interview. Was he? Oh, I can't.
I
Pay my
honestly,
bills
and here's the
and-
thing, and I'm not saying, like whatever. It was very suspicious that a ton of people came out of nowhere that like he had claimed he never even had an interaction with and couldn't prove their claims against him. Not at all. That all these things had happened. So I don't think.
Problem with celebrity status, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, taking like that outside of it, we both we've watched him together. Several movies he's been in some fucking tremendous
He's been
movies.
in a lot of
Yeah,
movies.
he's been in some
You
fantastic
don't
movies.
really like. That was the thing. Not that I ever disliked or liked Kevin Spacey. I just never. He was one of those actors that I knew he existed. I knew his name.
Mhm.
I didn't necessarily pay attention to how often I saw a movie he was in until after his name was plastered everywhere for everything. And then I started watching movies I'd always watched, and I was like, here he is again. Here's Kevin Spacey.
He was in
Seven.
Yeah, Seven. The
Was a
Usual
big one,
Suspects.
yep.
He was like the. I mean, not that this is a big one of his, but he was in Fred Claus. Like the
Yeah,
villain
that's
guy.
one every year
He
for
was-
over Christmas.
He was in fucking 21. He was in so many the
21 was fire.
the Blackjack movie. He was in a lot of big films, and like he was in House of Cards as one of the main
yeah.
characters, Frank
He
Underwood.
made
That's a
pretty
legendary character that he made. He actually made that show. Like he produced that show, and that became one of the first highly successful Netflix original shows ever made. But 100%, I would recommend you or anybody out there that has their suspicions, because I did too, and that's why I watched the Piers Morgan. It's interesting because I'm not a big Piers fan, and I know that he's can be kind of an asshole, but he will ask the hard questions, and he's a really, really. I don't really even like him that much, but he is a tremendous interviewer. Like, he will not back down from asking you the hard questions. And sometimes, like, that's the thing, because he was a fucking asshole of an American Idol judge and everything. But he doesn't let you get away with, certain things. And, like, there's certain things that he tried to say, oh, they did this to you dirty. And Kevin he could have put a lot of people that didn't back him under the bus, but he even told Piers, he's like, I'm not going to let you get away with saying that. Like he was like, oh, well, don't you hate these people that kind of cast you aside after this and this? And he's like, no, I understand for this reason and this reason. And it was actually a really compelling interview. It was one of the best I've seen in a long time with anybody. And the bigger reason is because he's been very private the last 7 years and hasn't really came out with hardly anything,
Yeah.
He has done some like lower budget, like British films
Hollywood
and shit like that.
basically pushed him aside.
But it's kind of wild because he was acquitted of all of these, like every charge.
Doesn't matter.
He was
Yeah.
acquitted of them.
I
He
mean,
was not convicted
I'm
of
not
anything.
saying to me. I'm just saying in Hollywood's eyes, it doesn't matter. Like at this point, his name
So
has been
anybody-
entirely tainted.
So anybody can make any allegation against anyone.
That's what's scary.
And if they do, you're immediately fucking guilty.
That's why people.
What happened to due process?
That's why people are so careful. Now you see pictures that athletes or actors or whoever take with young girls, and they'll have their arms out. It's like it's an extra careful society now because it doesn't necessarily matter.
Is the way forward though to tiptoe on fucking eggshells?
No, but at this point in time, that's what they kind of have to do because they don't know another way. And like right now, it's how do you find the ground? Because obviously, like we just said, Hollywood is creepy. There's weird predatory figures all over that shit.
Yeah.
So how do you find the fine line between the people in Hollywood that are just there trying to do their shit and they're good people, and the people that are trying to take advantage of people that are trying to live a dream? You know, it's...
I don't know. And the thing is, even due process in going to trial and going to court doesn't even always serve justice.
Because it's people's opinion at the end
It's
of the
about
day.
it's about who has the better lawyer, who has more money, who
Yeah.
has the better argument. There are so many times when people that are guilty as fuck go to trial that do not get what they deserve for better or worse.
Yeah. That's the thing. There's no law system that's ever going to be perfect.
And the thing is like it's hard to say this isn't the best we have, and here's why. Because if there was, we would have that instead of this.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you like lose a little bit of hope.
I don't
It's
see
like,
it
damn.
necessarily getting better for Hollywood and entertainment industries either, because shit keeps happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, that whole wave that happened back in 2017 was pretty much over within like 6 months or
but
less.
I mean, we just had the Diddy shit.
People were always suspicious that he was up to some fucking bullshit. That's all. I watched some of the docs on that actually.
So it's like, but that's the thing. It's always gonna be something else. Now it feels like
Yeah.
and not that it shouldn't be. It definitely like these people.
If it's true,
if these people are up to some wild shit, they should be held accountable.
yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, when you do things like this and you just start ousting people and you start like getting some people that really deserve it held accountable, like I feel like stray bullets always get fired in other directions and people get drug into things, and I mean it. I feel like you can't do anything now and just recover, dude. Will Smith just was in his first movie again in years for slapping somebody. Fucking years ago.
It was like a year and a half ago, but
It's like
it was
2 years ago.
It was like, yeah, I don't know. That's still suspicious to me, to be honest.
That almost feels staged.
Yeah.
Because Chris Rock was like, "Uh-oh, what do we got here?" Like he just like,
What did he think he was coming up
that?
for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And then he was kind of smiling after it happened for just for
He
like a
just slapped
second.
the shit out of me.
Yeah. Back to our. I just want to say that, and honestly though, and obviously I'm not apologizing for him. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. In this interview, he will tell you that he did stuff wrong, but it's not what people think particularly. And if you really want to know the full story, listen to the hour and 38-minute interview. It's really fucking good. It's really compelling. And like the thing is, it's I don't know. I don't know if he deserves to be blacklisted forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even a few years ago, before this came out, or with the limited knowledge that I knew or how much I had looked into it, I'd probably been like, oh, that he's fucked up and this and that and blah blah blah. But at what point do we acknowledge that people have learned and or acknowledge that if they're not convicted of something, they're not actually technically lawfully guilty, because that's the way that we were supposed to do it. You know what I mean? And he wasn't, and there was no proof.
Yeah, that's
So
I mean,
because people came out of the woodwork saying stuff from 30 years ago, okay, how do you deny and or confirm any of that when there was no evidence of anything one way or another?
yeah, that's what's always fishy is like,
And why would they wait that long?
there can be some heinous, horrible shit, and I get waiting. Not that long, but waiting.
30 years?
Because people are...
Till he's successful and he
people
has
are
money?
like-
Oh, that makes
yeah.
sense.
But people are, after those kind of events, a lot of times, people are shook and traumatically affected by it, and they don't want to immediately come out and talk. But it is always fishy whenever it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but why now? would you be like,
'Cause
this
he's
happens,
successful?
You know what I mean? So and maybe they did run it, like the people that accused him, or some of the people that accused him, maybe they did have run-ins with him. And maybe they were kind of like, "Ey,"
Yeah.
but they might not have went down the way they went down. Maybe
Yeah.
he was just
Well,
a
that's true,
weird,
too.
fucking creepy guy in a gay bar. And they're like, oh, Kevin Spacey grabbed my dick, you know?
Yeah.
Because people do shit like that. If they feel like... I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
Where people... There was a person that I worked with before.
Yeah.
And I won't say names, I won't even say places. But it's like... This guy... He was an innocent enough dude, I feel like. He was just a little bit older and strange. You know? He was a little strange. And he had asked out a few of the girls at the work, right? And they all obviously weren't into it. And they just garnered this, like, opinion where everybody then was like, this guy is a creep.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's up to something, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's no good. And people's boyfriends were showing up like, oh, are you this guy? Like, trying to go after this guy and stuff. And it's like, dude, I don't think that this guy is really that bad. Like, I get that maybe he's strange and a little off and creepy and weird.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think that he's here trying to cause anybody harm. He's just, like, misunderstood and lonely and like, I'm going to ask this girl out. He's shooting a shot and it's not fucking working.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
How do you also
I always
shoot
felt
your
like,
shot
I
and
always
then...
felt like if this man was a handsome, attractive, wanted man, that girls were like, ooh, over, none of this would be a thing.
Like, they wouldn't care if he did the type of things that this guy was trying to do?
It wouldn't be seen as creepy. He would just be suave and, like, you know what I mean? Where it was,
but see, that is one of the weird, and like, not to, you know, once again, I'm just going off with the way
and I'm not saying,
Kevin Spacey described
obviously,
it,
there's
so.
not people that don't do
No.
weird, harassing,
Nobody's saying
creepy
that.
shit.
But the other thing that he
But
said,
it's
like,
pretty privileged.
the
when it
other
comes to that
the
shit.
other thing that he said in the interview is, like, sometimes how do you know until you're going to make a move with anybody? Sometimes, like, how exactly are you going to know if you're accepted or denied if it's wanted or unwanted? You know what I'm saying? There's got to be what I'm saying is, obviously there's a point when it's obviously too far, but there's got to be a signal before something, you know what I mean? Before something happens or doesn't happen is what I mean. Obviously, if you keep going and keep pressing on, then obviously that's fucked up. Like, that's not right, you know what I mean? But, like, nobody's theoretically going to know ahead of time if you haven't, you know, discussed it ahead of time or whatever. Like, but that's the weird voodoo that's out there anyways, with guys and girls and, like, everything else, and, like, signaling and everything else. Like, if nobody knows and nobody gives anybody a signal one way or the other, then how are you going to know until somebody makes the move? And it's happened both ways. I'm sure it's happened across the same sex as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know.
It would, it just happens as a species. I mean...
And how do you know
I
until
feel like
it's
people,
like, I don't
that
know.
happens all the time, though, where people make moves and get denied. But that's the thing.
It does.
It's if you get denied, it's okay. We're done.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it's got to. It can't be like, oh, let me try something else then. You know, then that's when it gets to weird. You know.
Yeah. And definitely, like, unwanted, and it becomes harassment at that point.
Yeah.
At least, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the discussion we get the first time on this new segment. We were about midway through it. So so you said Superbad over This Is the End. You said This Is the End over The Hangover, Happy Gilmore, Tommy Boy, and Step Brothers. All right. This Is the End versus Borat.
Ooh. Dude, I love Borat, too.
I know, and I was like, this is one that I thought about a left field to throw in here, and I'm like, nah. Didn't we watch it at least one time?
Maybe. You know what? I think I might pick Borat on this night.
Interesting.
Because, like, just the genuine human's reaction
Mm-hmm.
to Borat was like, what in the fuck is up with this guy? You know? That was fantastic.
Oh yeah. He's been in a lot of fucking. He was a part in This Is the End, or not This Is the End. Eastbound and Down. Remember that?
Yeah. He's like an actor. Like he was in Talladega Nights too. He was like the ultimate rival of Ricky Bobby actually, but like he is an actor in movies, but he also does those style of comedies where he's like he dresses up as a character and just goes in public and like acts like this fucking guy, you know. Like Bruno was another one
Yeah.
of those movies.
I got another one for you.
All right.
This Is the End versus The Disaster Artist. We watched
The Disaster Artist was really.
We
good.
watched that a lot in 2019 when we
Yeah.
launched this pod. That was the year we watched this like fucking 5 times, bro.
It was a good one. I remember like buying that at Best Buy and like watching it one night at my parents whenever I was like at the house alone. I think they went to the country or something for the weekend, and I was like, this is pretty damn good. And I figured you were gonna like it just because I was like, this is not the typical like Franco Brothers and like Seth Rogen type of movie, but it was still pretty damn funny. That being said, I think This Is the End just because it was like the ensemble of everybody. Like they were all there and they all had their moments of just hilarity. Like
yeah.
everybody had a moment to shine in that movie.
That's what I would say too. Is like The Disaster Artist, and like I could go back now and watch it and be
yeah.
entertained, but I think that was more like that was a moment in time, if not a year, for us that like, even though all these other films with those same guys that came out, that just took over, and like we were quoting it all the time and like watching it all the time. That became like a moment in time movie, like where we like watched the fuck out of it. Like it was so funny because it was like the newest one with a lot of those guys in it, and it was entertaining as fuck, for sure.
Yeah.
Much better than the actual Room was, I'll tell you that. I can't believe we watched that.
The Room was meant to like not meant to be, but like it is notably known as one of the worst movies of all time. But that was why people like latched onto it, was because it was so just damn bad.
Okay, This Is the End versus The Big Lebowski.
See, that was one I thought about incorporating on my list too. I was like, I didn't remember if you had seen that or not.
I have seen it. I've seen parts of it several times, but I've only seen it once fully, I think, ever.
That's Sacha Baron Cohen too, isn't it? The Jesus. You don't fuck with the Jesus.
Oh yeah, I see, and that's the thing. I probably wouldn't be able to even pick up all those quotes because I've only seen it the one time and I haven't. Most of these movies that I'm listing tonight, I've seen at least probably 2 or 3 times each, except that one.
Dude, I might pick The Big Lebowski just because Jeff Bridges, the dude, was fucking iconic, and that was like probably the best John Goodman role he's ever done.
Oh yeah, no, it was tremendous.
Like, just that crazy ass Vietnam vet that was like gung ho.
You're out of your element.
Like pulled out his pistol when the guy stepped over the line at the bowling alley. And Jesus too. Sacha Baron Cohen's character of Jesus. I think it was him. But like that character was hilarious. Like when he was like waxing his ball at the beginning and had it down like by his nutsack. He's just like fucking rubbing it around.
That was like what? That was 90s too, wasn't it? Like 97 or 8?
I think so.
It was like 98
Yeah.
maybe? Something like that.
And he'd like lick the ball before he fucking threw it. He always did the chop. He's like, you don't fuck with the Jesus. That shit was great.
Damn, so you're taking that too over?
I think maybe. Yeah,
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know.
Super bad? See, that is not necessarily what I expected, but I came up with other ones too.
This like, that's the thing. It's
hard.
It's on this night too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like on this night, that's how I feel. Like
If you had
This Is
just
the
watched
End.
This Is the End, you might be like, oh yeah, fuck no.
This Is the End. Yeah, might honestly be over The Big Lebowski. But how I'm feeling in this moment,
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna say.
So you took Superbad and Borat and The Big Lebowski, at least so far. All right, how about this? This Is the End versus War Dogs.
Dude, gotta pick War Dogs just because
Damn!
that was that's honestly still one of my, like, potentially, it's probably in my top 50 movies in general.
15?
50.
Okay.
Maybe,
oh, well, I mean,
maybe
50, that's pretty wide.
Maybe 25.
Yeah.
Like, it's up there. Like, it's just rewatchable in general. Because it's not... I would say This Is the End is a better comedy, but War Dogs is a better movie. That's the way I put it.
That makes sense.
Like, I enjoy... Like, War Dogs wasn't all comedy. Like, it was just a really interesting story.
Yeah. It was considered comedy as well, though.
Yeah.
It's like comedy drama, right?
Yeah. It was like probably war comedy drama.
Yeah.
It was like
Jonah Hill and
genres.
Miles Teller. Yeah, it's
It was good.
So I felt like it made the cut because I was like,
But-
if there's certain things with this genre thing, categories in general, that there's gonna be cross movies, because if you technically, and I was thinking that too. We just saw Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die. Bad Boys is action adventure, but it's also comedy.
Yeah.
So that could really be either one too.
Yeah, you can put it in both.
You know. But a lot of times,
that's the way I'd put it. Yeah, I think This Is the End is a better comedy overall, but like I enjoy War Dogs I would say War Dogs is a better overall movie.
so you put War Dogs over it
Yeah,
in terms of that. Okay. Okay.
'cause
See, we're getting up there
This
now.
Is the End kills me though.
No, it does.
Some
It
of the
does.
shit.
There's some of the scenes that are some of the best I've ever seen. All right, and we have come to the final one here. This Is the End versus Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express.
Yeah, same. So you took 5 under This Is the End and 5 over officially. Actually, after it ended.
That's insane.
You took
to me.
Superbad. Yeah,
I
but
might-
I listed
you know
some.
what?
I listed some pretty.
I might switch. I think I gotta go This Is the End over The Big Lebowski. That one hasn't been sitting right with me since we did it, so I think I'm gonna take This Is the End with that one.
Okay, I was gonna say then you took This Is the End over Superbad, or no, you took Superbad, Borat, Pineapple Express, and War Dogs over This Is the End, but everything else under. See, mine would kind of be close. I think I would have taken, because of the historic and nostalgic factors, I probably would have taken Happy Gilmore over This Is the End. Not necessarily because it's funnier, but Happy Gilmore's kind of has like a legendary status.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have taken, if it was me, I might have taken Pineapple, Happy Gilmore, Superbad, and probably that's it. Maybe though, to be honest, over it. I do think This Is the End might be at least a tad better than The Disaster Artist, though The Disaster Artist is still got great rewatchability and is thoroughly entertaining.
Oh yeah.
And I feel the same about War Dogs. I haven't seen it as many times as you do, but I've always been entertained when I've watched it. And Borat and Lebowski, I have probably seen the least on the list, but I did enjoy both when I watched them. So, The Hangover's good, but I don't quite know if it was as funny as that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, Pineapple. I don't know, man. See, the real testament, Pineapple versus Superbad. I think with all those guys, it comes down to all their movies together, Knocked Up, and fucking, all those ones we named, like Neighbors, stuff like that. I think it would come down to Superbad versus Pineapple for me, because those are the best two. I think those are the
Those are really
top
good,
two.
Yeah.
I
This
don't-
Is the End is fantastic.
And I don't know, like part of me might give the edge if it was those two versus each other to Pineapple, just barely. But Superbad is such a fucking classic too, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's the segment though, with a little bit of mixed talk about that interview, and then we got deep into some other shit, but interesting. So you took, I think you took. Well, the under had more movies under it, so This Is the End was, or no, what you said? I think you said it was better than 4 and not necessarily as good as, or no, it was better than 6, not necessarily as good as 4
Yeah.
in terms of comedy movie. Let's be frank about that. But I did. That's what I mean. I did pick ones that I knew you liked for sure too. So I'm like, this will be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, like, not every one on my list I know your opinion on, but a few of them I know you really enjoy.
All right, now I'm in the hot seat.
All right, so we're going to make your movie that's going up against the other topics, The Waterboy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Not my favorite Adam Sandler movie in the world, but I mean, I enjoy it. I like it. I watch it from time to time, but it's... I don't mean to diss it, but it's not top 5 Sandler
He's
movies
funny
for me.
as hell, though.
He is.
In that movie.
He is. It's funny, but I don't think it's top 5 Sandler movies to me. Now, before people are like, what? Well, I love The Waterboy. Think about how many great movies and how many funny movies Sandler has made.
Some
There's a ton
people
of them.
don't like Sandler in general, though.
But
too.
see, that's the thing. If that's the case, they're not going to like The Waterboy either.
Yeah. So you picked 10 choices
Against this
that.
is the end. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So yeah, I think you picked 4. Not that we have to keep track the whole time until like near the end, but yeah, I think you picked 4 over this is the end and 6 under.
All right.
Not bad, not bad.
So you ready for the first one?
I am ready.
All right, The Waterboy versus Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
Ooh. Man, I've been watching Sailor movies since I was like literally a little kid. And there's a lot that I enjoy. I don't think The Waterboy cracks top 5. And there was a moment in time when Tenacious D, at least a 3-year period, where I watched the fuck out of that movie. And I mean, I'm not saying at any point was it ever my favorite movie, per se, but I did get over it a big time way and made me laugh a lot. I would probably say Tenacious D over The Waterboy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I love Jack Black. I feel like he's
I do
another
too.
one that people kind of like.
And that's the thing. I would take more
either
Sandler.
like or don't like.
I would take more Sandler movies over Jack Black. Not because I hate Jack Black by any means. I mean, he's great. I love him. Great spirit. Great. He brings warmth to like almost every role he has and everything.
He seems
always,
like a great dude too.
Yeah.
Like he'd be an awesome dude to hang out with.
But Sandler just had a lot that were. I mean, I'm not saying every one of them was a banger by any means, but he just had a lot of ones that were at least pretty good quality. He has some deeper movies that are really good too. It's not even just. It's not ones that are only just goofy comedy.
But they're still comedic. Even when they're funny. Like even when they're deep, they're still got like funny moments.
Yeah, but I would take. I would probably take Tenacious D.
All right. The Waterboy or Anchorman.
Oh man, Anchorman's one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies of all time. If not number 1
Really?
Will Ferrell movies. It might be next to like the other guys. Anchorman might be my number 1 Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
It's got a stacked all-star cast of fucking comedy talent around it. And like I said, I don't want any of this, no matter how this goes here, because we're already 2 over The Waterboy. I don't mean any for this to be shitting on The Waterboy. I would take The Waterboy over probably several other Sandler movies, and it's got some classic lines. Oh, she's the devil, and all this kind of shit. It's classic. I don't deny that. But you gotta also think about the fact that I grew up. By the age of 16, I had already seen probably 25 Adam Sandler movies.
Oh yeah.
And I at least
he was
enjoyed.
a big part of the like comedy movies of my childhood.
And I probably
for sure.
at least
Him and Jim
enjoyed
Carrey.
22 out of the 25 of them, if not more.
Yeah. So Anchorman over.
Anchorman.
All right. Let's go back to Jack Black with School of Rock or The Waterboy.
Ooh. Man, School of Rock is that's like Jack Black's show that he just fucking put on too.
That was
That's the
like
thing.
what really put him on the map. Too,
It is. I think it was the first time they really perceived him. He was in that movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from our break, and it is time for our ever-loved
Good, the Bad, and the Shit segment. Man, we took a good hot minute on that first one, but that was like the debut of the segment. I think it was Plus, I mean, we did take like 10 minutes, probably at least, to branch off into that other shit that we were talking about.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Yeah,
I
it was a
enjoyed
good
it.
time.
And, you know, I'm sure depending on the topics, we'll get more and less into certain stuff and others, you know, too. Obviously, movies, we can go all day long comparing different stuff, too. I'm sure, like, a discussion over food, well, we can say it wouldn't go as long, but who knows. But, yeah, I think there's tons of mileage we can get out of that with a lot of different categories, you know. Now, it'd be kind of funny, like, doing it as, like, a solo thing, and then somebody, like, somebody catch whiff of that it's a thing now and be like, oh, fuck, I want to do that. Like, be an interest. But I think it would be an interesting way to, like, that's a way to really get into, like, some of the stuff we want to talk about, too, in terms of the solo episodes. And, you know, we have that. We always have the good, the bad, and the shits, like, you know. So it's, like, it's an interesting way to take it, I think. So we'll see how it goes. Tonight was the initial experiment, like we were talking about earlier in the episode. There's always
like
different layers. Oh yeah, there's always different layers we're adding to it. So that was a trial to see how it works, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
So, what do you got up first on the good, the bad, and the shits?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first if you want.
All right.
I think I do have my my options though, my topics.
All right. Well, we had Clash of the Castle this weekend. It was a controversial ending of the pay-per-view. Drew lost the big one again in his home country. And in front of his fans, CM Punk fucked him. Cost him the match. It's getting mixed reactions, you know. Some people are pissed about it. Some people, you know, think it's great. It definitely built the story more.
Yeah.
Made it more intense. So yeah, that's just my topic. What do you think about Punk costing Drew at Clash? Feel like it was the right call? You think Drew should have won the big one there? I don't know. I feel like Damian deserves a little bit more of a run, and I think that this really elevates this Punk Drew thing to another level even more.
I think as long as it's part of long-term storytelling that's going to serve more of the story down the road, and, you know, it kind of extends Damian's, it helps increase their, you know, their reasoning for putting the belt on him if they keep it on him a little longer. Otherwise it feels like he's just a very transitional champion. Which, I mean, it might kind of feel that way anyway to an extent, but it's also his first reign, so we're kind of seeing what we can kind of squeeze out of him. You can kind of see him grow with the title as he's champion right now, because there's certain aspects that he still isn't that experienced with, you can tell with it. But, I mean, he has worked hard, so I appreciate that they're giving him more of a quality, you know, chance to hold the belt. I think as long as it's going to serve a greater purpose, I think it was probably a decent call. Plus, it got a lot of heat on Punk with a certain percentage of the fans, you know. So I think it was a fair move.
Yeah, it was definitely controversial.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I am curious how you pay it off, because, like, at some point, you gotta have Drew feel like the victor, because he's kind of just been taking L after L, because Punk's just been, like, standing in his way. But at the same time, this is kind of Punk's big return. He hasn't had his big singles match. So it's like, you got Punk's big return match that still really hasn't happened. You got Drew, who's been getting fucked over in every big opportunity he's had, kind of because of Punk, because of his own, like, animosity and just hatred for Punk. That gets in his head and gets in his way so much that it costs him. So it's like, Drew deserves the payoff, but Punk is the big return. So what do you do, you know?
I don't know when, and a lot of this has to do with, like, when is Punk actually going to be cleared to be able to wrestle, or is he not going to have a match until...
People think it's SummerSlam that they'll have their match, but...
Do you think that...
Because I think it's soon.
Let's say that SummerSlam is when they have the big match, and Punk is cleared within a few weeks. Do you think he should still not have a match until then, or do you think he should still get in the ring and take some bumps before that
I mean,
happens?
maybe you could have him wrestle like in a tag match against Drew and somebody else or something like.
I think it'd be a good
on
idea.
the Raw before SummerSlam, just to like get him kind of in the ring a little bit, but not have him work like a full match,
or even
just
a couple weeks before, a few weeks before.
Could be interesting.
It'd be a way to get him to bump around. It's like now he's dealing with the thing. It's kind of like the issues that Triple H and Taker were having, is they were increasingly out of the ring for longer extended parts of the year. It's good in a sense that you can have that time to heal and recover your body and everything, but it's worse because your body's not used to taking those bumps as often anymore. You're not getting the in-ring wear and tear and work in the same way you would get it.
Yeah.
So you might pull something from being a little ring rusty.
You're not. That is what's sketchy about it, is because he's had a lot of injuries recently. So he hasn't had a lot of ring time. So you have the ring rust on top of all these like freshly healing injuries. It's like he's got to be careful. I feel like Drew's a good person to put him with to kind of have this big rivalry at first, though, because I feel like he's a pretty safe worker. Knock wood. Like, I can't think of a moment where I've been like, man, Drew almost really fucked that guy up, you know?
Yeah. We didn't even know what happened in the Rumble.
Yeah. And that was the thing, is that happened there, but it wasn't even like anything out of the ordinary. That was a move that Drew did all the time to everybody. So it's like, did he just pull him back, like his arms back too far, or he's like, I don't know, man. I feel like you got to be careful with Punk's body now.
He has gotten hurt a lot of times since September of 2022, or no, actually, it was before then, because he won the belt from Adam Page 2 years ago. It was more than 2 years ago. Since 2 years ago at this time, or a little earlier than this, he got hurt. And since then, almost every single time he's been getting in the ring, within weeks, within a few matches, he's been getting hurt again. He's never had like an extended run really after that. After that initial AEW run.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on. His body's just like, nope. You waited too long. It's wild, man. But I really do hope that he gets to come back and has some.
Yeah, I do too.
Has some bangers still, because I feel like there is some matches to be had with this generation of people that I feel like he could put on some pretty cool stuff over there. Like Drew is a good one. Like Seth, obviously. But yeah, he could even work with Cody at some point. Like, there's just a handful of people where it'd be like, this could be really neat. I mean, it could be even neat to see him, work like Ray again, because that's been forever because they had their big feud in like the late 2000s and stuff too. So it would like, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Like, at this point, I'm not holding my breath that Punk will ever be like a full-time active competitor anymore. I just feel like he's going to be in big matches, show up, every now and then. Like, not just every now and then, but he won't be there every week. Like, and that's probably best. Like, if he can stay in shape and healthy and not wear his body down on weekly television all the time, that's probably for the best. Because Punk can come out and just talk shit for 10 minutes and sell whatever he needs to anyways,
Yeah, he can tell the stories without actually getting physical in the ring.
So by the time that it actually happens, it's like, oh shit. That's what we're seeing right now. Like, he's been injured all this time, but him and Drew have stayed like an interesting thing.
I'm still behind it, honestly. I think it's gonna make for a really enticing match when it finally does happen.
as we've said before. You just kind of don't know when that is, and I don't think they should rush it either. They've done a good job at keeping it interesting and keeping you invested every time they make a decision to kind of forward the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I said earlier, like depending on how it goes for the rest of the year, it could end up being the best like rivalry of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Really, just the way it's gone so far, it's really like been pretty enticing,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said. Like I just feel like, and that's not a knock on Cody either. And like I feel like him and AJ's actual PLE matches have been pretty awesome, but like I've been enjoying Raw more than SmackDown recently, just because they have more of my favorite people too. Like I like Bronson Reed a lot too. Like he reminds me of like a modern day Bam Bam a little bit. Like he's a big old dude that goes top rope and stuff. Like I want to see him do more with him. He's on Raw. Like Sami Zayn, it just puts on bangers all the time. Is on Raw, and him and Chad Gable stuff with Alpha Academy. That's all really interesting. Chad Gable's just being a complete dickhead. It's great. You got the Liv Morgan and Dom stuff going on. There's just like Sheamus is back. He's on Raw. He's not there every week either. Like Gunther, he's got his title match with Damian coming up. That's all happening on Raw.
People are giving Sheamus shit
just
about being out of shape.
Yeah,
you
know
see
what?
that?
They can all get fucked. Sheamus is in his mid-40s, and he's still, when he's there, dude, he's putting on like 15 to 20 minute fucking bangers when he's out there.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's really like missed a step. He's getting older, man. Who cares if he's not a fucking jacked dude? Neither are you guys. This is what we were saying earlier. WWE Shop is one of the only shops out there that sells 3XLs on every one of their shirts. What's that say? You guys want to start talking about people's weight out there. Oh, fucker, he's fat now. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was going to wrap it up because of his health issue a few years ago.
Yeah.
People were talking like no, I am too.
I've always really liked Shane. Like, I feel like there's definitely been times they've utilized him a lot better than others. Like, but he can put on fucking dope matches when they let him. Like, I don't know, even last year when I did my top 10 WWE matches on my blog, like
that triple threat.
He had like 2 matches on there because I also had like Edge's last match in WWE on there, and that was against Sheamus.
Yeah, because he always wanted to work with him, right?
Yeah. And I mean, even when he comes back, he like had that one with Gunther just a few weeks ago, with the King of the Ring qualifying match. That was really good. He faced Gunther a couple years ago at Clash at the Castle, and that was a fucking great match. I feel like when they brought him in, though, they booked him so strong, dude. He beat Cena for the title. He was like had a rivalry with like Triple H going into like Mania 26 and shit. It was like, that's when Sheamus was like dope. Because you're like, oh man.
Do you like how they're doing these PLEs lately and only doing like 5 matches on each one of them?
It's interesting. I mean, I get it, because these ones throughout the summer, they're putting pretty close together.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why they would do
like
that.
3 and 4 weeks.
Not everybody's going to be on each of the cards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure the next card, like, Liv will probably defend her title, because she didn't at this one.
And
Bayley probably won't.
Bianca and Jade lost their belts. Yeah, I saw that.
Iva and Alba. Which was actually a really cool moment, because, like...
It doesn't seem like the women's titles are... They're not so prestigious in the sense that, they have such a long lineage and this and that, like, to where you have to have, people don't typically hold tag team titles for very long anyway. I mean, it's not like the longest you ever really is about a year.
It doesn't.
But it's never
too long.
It's
like
never
the
usually that
held them pretty damn long recently. And that
Yeah.
was not even 2 years, I don't think.
No, it wasn't that
So-
long. It was
Like,
A
it was
little
around
weird.
like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah, it was neat to see because it was in their home country,
mm-hmm.
and Alba Fire had that like family tragedy, like just a couple weeks ago. Like her mom died in a car accident, like just a couple weeks back. So it was
Crazy.
like, and then they celebrated ringside with like family and like her husband and stuff, and they got them like bouquets of flowers. So they're like carrying the flowers and the titles out. I was like, it was a neat moment for like them and their country for sure. I'm sure they won't hold them all that long because I don't feel like not that Iowa and Alba weren't like dope before, but they weren't being used like they were gonna win the belts. You know, that's why like when it happened, I was kind of just like chilling, watching. Like I was just watching the match, kind of just vibing, and then it like happened. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like I was like,
They
I didn't even expect that to be the finish.
Yeah, they didn't even pin Bianca and Jade,
No.
did they? No. See, and that
Jade-
protects them. And
Jade was going for the pin, and Alba came in and German suplexed her and took the pin.
Stole them.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they were like all defeated on the outside
But
of the ring.
And see, that's
They'll
the other
probably
thing.
end up getting in a rivalry sooner than later. They might not get the belts back because they can't get on the same page or something. And
Not that any of the summer, pay-per-views or PLEs or anything have ever been like bad by any means, but they're not going to put necessarily their best effort forth in the summertime because people are outside doing stuff, and now they're obviously overseas. They're not going to put like their grade A, not really, at least until SummerSlam
there's still
time.
some bangers on some of these shows.
Oh, yeah. But it's not really gonna. And then the closer we get to fall, come SummerSlam and everything else, everything will obviously heat up
SummerSlam
again.
will end up being their biggest, definitely their most stacked card.
Between like May and August for sure.
Even after, like it'll definitely be bigger than like Bash in Berlin. That'll mainly be like Gunther's show, I'd imagine. Kind of like Clash was built around Drew, really.
Yeah.
He ended up losing, but like even still, he was in the promo package. Like
It's
at the
smart to
beginning of
do,
the show. Yeah. It was his thing.
They're trying to expand as much as they possibly can through the world, more than ever. But yeah, I'm interested to see where Drew and Punk go from here.
Yeah, dude, and that's the thing. They really sold it because like the pre-show, they were showing a bunch of clips of like Damian and Drew both. But it was like a lot of like Drew's past of like when he left WWE the first time and how he came back to Scotland, and he said he was gonna make the European scene bigger, and he won like the belt over there in the independent companies in like Scotland. It became a big deal again, and it was like they were really selling it like they're like, oh, this guy's like fucking Scotland's wrestling hero, And they were even kind of convincing me because I was saying, as my upset kind of pick, I'm like, it just feels like Punk's gonna fuck him, like, because they've been keeping that quiet.
Yeah.
Like, and Punk had said potentially, don't make me come confront you in Scotland. And
I did see. Yeah, I heard that.
And then he ended up doing it, but it's like so I was kind of like, man, I think Damian could do it, but like seeing those promo packages and stuff beforehand, I was like, maybe they will put the belt on. I don't know.
It really felt like it, which is all the more reason why him screwing him over made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
To kind of throw the people.
Oh man, the people just flipping off Punk as he was walking out and stuff. It was great.
Oh yeah. You gonna do another topic?
Yep.
Alrighty.
So what did you say?
I said fair.
Okay.
But I am in full support of that storyline. I think it'll be good as long as they keep building it properly.
Okay.
Keep the anticipation at a high level. Transitioning to football here for a second. And I don't think we've ever done him before. So going into this next season, it's not really just about going to the next season though, but what do you feel about Justin Herbert So far, obviously, he's proven that he has greatness in him, but he has not, per se, had the success in the... I mean, he's made the playoffs, hasn't he? Once or twice. But I think under, Jim Harbaugh, like, he's got a shot. He's got a better shot in a lot of ways. He does have less around him than he did as far as offensive weapons go. But I think he's as good of a quarterback as he would need to be in order to make other wide receivers. You know what I mean? But, I mean, who knows? Who knows what kind of moves they're going to make, too. But a lot of people feel as if the Chargers have a better shot now than they ever did. A lot of people just don't know is it going to be a slow transition or is it going to be immediate? Is it going to be... They were like 5-12 last year.
I mean, a head coach in himself can't fully turn a team, typically. There has
Harbaugh's
to be
had a lot of
some
success,
years.
though. Every place he's been.
But
do you think he's got enough juice to turn... Like, you think they're going to improve from last season, don't you? They were 5-12.
The last season was somehow like a fluke. That was the worst season he's had over
Do
there,
you
by
think
far.
they improve enough to, say, go from 5 wins and 12 losses to 9 wins?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I think they could do well this season. I think Justin Herbert is actually really damn good. He's just suffered from Charger syndrome, like Phillip Rivers did his whole career.
And
where they're
fucking stayed there.
They're damn good. They just can't be better than the team, and the team that's around them isn't great. They don't stand up to some of the teams they have to go up against.
Yeah.
That's all that it is. I mean, they're in the division with the Chiefs. It's not like an easy division.
And even if you fucking somehow conquer the Chiefs, like, they have so many difficult teams in the AFC.
Oh yeah.
It's wild.
I honestly feel like Herbert is a fair perception because I feel like he's actually pretty highly rated and talked about. I mean, he's got a lot of endorsement deals and sponsors and stuff. Like, he is he's a known quarterback.
Yeah.
Of this generation, and he hasn't had that success yet, like some of these guys have, or they've been to Super Bowls, or I mean, Josh Allen hasn't either. Lamar hasn't either, I guess.
Has he even been to an AFC Championship game? Allen?
I don't think.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
Because he's gotten beaten the division round usually by the fucking Chiefs. He can't win the big one, man.
No, but I mean, I think he's pretty fairly rated because it's not like people are out here being like, oh, that's bullshit. He ain't any fucking good.
Yeah.
He sucks. And nobody really thinks that. The Chargers were horrible last year, but they were like, man, the Chargers suck. It was never like Herbert is the problem here. It's kind of astonishing because, like, they're one of the teams that can suffer a very lackluster record and nobody really thinks less of him. Yeah. Than they did, which is fortunate because then he would be underrated because what he can still do and what he's got to work with has not been the greatest, I mean, the Chargers had just some pitiful games this year. And it was mainly their defense, dude. The Chargers' defense was fucking butter.
Yeah.
Butter.
Just getting
This
sliced
season.
fucking through.
The Raiders put up like 60 fucking 4 on them or something like that.
The Raiders?
Yeah.
And the
it's
Raiders
like,
are fucking...
Bro, how does this happen? You gotta try to do this bad.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really compete when your defense is, like, literally probably one of the bottom 3 in the league. That makes it tough, too.
Yeah.
So hopefully they got some improvement in that aspect this season.
I do hope they do better. Like, among some of the other teams, like, they're going to be some of the most interesting watches. I think Aaron Rodgers going into, regardless of the controversy and all that, like, I think going into him hopefully having a healthy, upright, good season, like, just at least to stay healthy and stay in most every game, you know what I mean, in terms of playing, is going to be interesting to watch. The Chargers is going to be an interesting watch. There's there's a number of teams that just, like, it'll be in, like, I'm not even a fan of the Steelers really at all. Like, I don't hate them, but I'm not a fan of them. But it's kind of going to be interesting to see if Russ has got any juice left and he's actually going to have a turnaround there or not, you know?
Yeah, they got their backup already.
Yeah. And he thinks he's playing, so that's an issue.
He might.
It's like you're 10 and fucking 28 in your professional record.
He might, like, 6 or 7 weeks into the season.
And now I know that's supposedly great for the Bears, but, you know, it's the fucking Bears. And we need to actually see Caleb Williams and their team play out. I'm not saying they have a good shot. They have a better shot, frankly, than they've had maybe the entire time we've been alive, except for that year they went to the Super Bowl.
And that, nobody knows how that happened.
But theoretically, on paper, they have everything they need to become successful. But, like, slow your fucking roll, because they're not automatically in the NFC Championship game because of the pieces that are around Caleb Williams.
Could absolutely bust.
So, and he
We'll
has
see.
he's going to have a huge microscope on him, because he has an enormous amount of hype
And
in all
literally
ways around
every
him.
quarterback has always just failed on the Bears. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, dude, and he's got pieces. But we got to see what happens. And, like, so I'd be lying if I said I'm not interested to see how it plays out. I mean, I still hope the Packers fucking whoop their ass. I'll be honest.
yeah.
And I really hope that Jordan Love picks up kind of where he left off with the end of the season there. It was fucking
I
tremendous.
think it'll be interesting to see if Caleb Williams and the Bears can. I mean, if they're good, that would be kind of cool to see the Bears actually be something.
I just think we need to halt the discussion on everybody
Yeah.
thinking they're all of a sudden, they're in
Oh,
there.
no,
Who
I'm
hasn't
not-
played one fucking professional snap?
The Bears aren't a team that I'm ever going to believe is going to be good until I see it.
No. So, I mean, those are all situations that'll be interesting. Most of those fucking teams have defensive coaches, man. Like, and that's, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. The Jets have it together to where, like, that's the situation they're into now. It's like solely dependent on Rodgers staying healthy to, like, get them where they need to be.
And they still won, 7 games last
They beat
year
the
without
Bills.
him.
They won games that you wouldn't have thought, but
So they would be good with them, I'm sure.
yeah, I think they
He's
have.
got targets out
They're
there.
actually favored. I believe this is what they said, is that in the point spread, they're favored. I'm not saying this is going to be their record, but this is what Vegas, I think, thinks. They're favored in 14 of their 17 games.
No, not happening. Can you imagine if it did? Dude, Garrett Wilson
What do you
will
think?
potentially, if Rodgers can stay healthy, I think Garrett Wilson could be a top receiver this year.
Put a number on it. What do you think? I think the Jets will win, being optimistic, and assuming Rodgers is healthy, I think they can win 10 or 11 games.
That's what I was going to say, too.
Right in there.
I was going to say probably like 11-6.
That'd be awesome. That'd be a lot better than what the Jets are used to.
Mm-hmm. They'd probably make the playoffs.
Oh yeah. They definitely could.
Yeah.
They could.
I mean, if he can stay healthy, that's the Punk discussion all over again.
Yeah. That it is. But yeah, I mean, there's some other teams that I'm just interested to see how they do. The Panthers, your your fourth favorite team. Hopefully they have a little bit of a boost compared to what they had last
Oh,
year.
bro, it's gonna be rough.
It's probably they're not gonna win more than 4 games. It's at best.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Dude, I don't even fully blame Bryce Young. Like,
No.
I don't know how much you can do when
He doesn't
you
have
got
shit.
no time, no targets. Like, your line is shit. you're short anyways. So, like, you need the line to hold up for you a little bit. He's used to that. He's not getting that at all. And, yeah, his top target is, like, fucking 38-year-old dude that's beat up and been in the league forever. It's like, you need to do something.
Yeah.
DJ Moore's gone now. He's a bear.
Who just got signed? Somebody got signed to like a 5-year, $75 million deal. Who the fuck was that?
I feel like I don't usually. Well,
Was
I
it a
usually will
quarterback?
see it.
Or no,
later.
that'd be somebody's getting fucking bent over. That's for sure.
I don't know.
Crazy though. Need to look more into that. I'm excited, man. I'm fucking looking at fantasy. I'm ready to get shit going in all facets. And we're only just over like mid-June, so we still got a minute, but it's gonna come quick.
I know.
You gonna move on to your next topic?
I'm gonna do it real quick. I was
Okay.
just thinking, like, I love Asian food, man. In every Asian restaurant, and you can even get them frozen, and it's just like everybody's got their own style and their own kind of egg roll. What do you feel about egg rolls?
I think they're pretty good.
Dude, I love them.
Yeah, I
Sometimes I feel like egg rolls are not great though. Like, I've had them from places before that I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? Come on.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
Panda Express.
Panda Express is-
Their bowls are good. Their bowls are pretty fire. If you get like an orange chicken bowl or a General Tso bowl or sweet and sour or whatever, but like their egg rolls and their crab rangoon fucking suck.
I love crab rangoon.
Oh,
Lo
yeah.
main's pretty fucking
Dude,
good.
don't get the crab rangoon from freaking Panda Express. You will be sorely disappointed.
I'll have it a few times a year.
It's not a favorite of
well,
mine
not
by many
Panda,
means.
not Panda. I just mean Chinese food.
Oh,
And
I
like,
love it, dude.
I know we've talked about it before, but I'm like, I just had it so much as a kid that I just got so fucking burnt out on it. I cannot do it more than at most like 3 or 4 times a year now.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't know. It once in a while, it like I get every few months, I guess that would add up to. I get kind of just a feeling that I'm like, man, that actually sounds fucking great. But like, I cannot. I used to like love the buffets and everything too. Whenever we had the buffet era was actually happening and shit, which was a great bang for your buck.
Dude.
And you usually get a good bang for your buck with Chinese food in general, but like, I don't know. Once in a while, but like that's the thing. Once in a while, you'll see egg rolls like other places. Doesn't have to always be like Chinese places or whatever. You'll see them and you can just get them from somewhere or something. Like some place will randomly have crab rangoons. Oh, egg rolls, and we got this stuff too. But they don't have like any other Chinese food. And like I'm like, oh fuck, that sounds good. But
Jack in the Box has
yeah,
egg rolls.
most egg rolls that I've had are pretty tremendous, honestly. And like,
Yeah.
I love crab rangoon too.
Sometimes though, have you ever had the egg roll that's like just cabbage, and you're like,
Yeah, I think so.
you got nothing else in here?
No, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I think they're pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. But there's not a whole lot of like food from a Chinese restaurant that you're gonna bring that I'm like gonna refuse most likely. Like most of it is pretty damn good to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
That being
order it all
said,
the time.
and I like it and I crave it even sometimes. If you were to say Chinese food, and I know you don't agree with this, but I would probably say it's overrated. I
There's
don't
a lot of
hate
people
it.
that have that opinion.
I don't hate it at all, but a lot of people love it.
I feel like I have like
Chinese food is
craved
really
it more and got it
polarizing
on my own since I've kind of been out. Because whenever I was growing up, it was like it divided my house where like I think Devin was sort of indifferent about it. Dad didn't really like it, and me and Mom were fans. So me and Mom would like go get Chinese or go to the buffet and stuff sometimes if like we went out. But then like Dad, I think he's more like open to it now. Like there's a customer on our route, like this Asian family, and they have their own like restaurant, and they gave us coupons to it one day, and like he ate there because they gave him that coupon. He's like, oh, that was really good. So he's like ate there like 5 times now. I'm
Damn.
Like,
I mean, I do really enjoy like Japanese dishes too, and like sushi. Going to some of these sushi, like I thought for a while, I'm like, damn, what is with this? It seemed like
sushi is pretty good.
It seemed like the last few years it's just been huge. Like people are getting,
really
getting over
blew
with.
up.
It did,
Yeah.
and I didn't have any like bad takes on it, like in terms of because I always tried it. I used to try it even 10 years ago at shit where I'd go to a place and I didn't have like that great of sushi there though. But now if you actually go to a sushi place or that sushi AI or whatever, it's fucking tremendous. And like
Dude,
stuff like
it
that.
from like just the Deerbergs market, like going to get in a California roll because they
Shrimp
they-
rolls, crab
they
rolls, those are all
roll them.
good.
They like roll them daily because you have to make shrimp like or sushi like fresh.
Yeah.
As fuck, you know,
as
So,
fresh
like,
as you can.
So like, and you have to get it then, basically.
Yeah.
It's got like a
And
6
see-
to 8 hour shelf life.
And see, one of those motherfuckers is probably
Oh, no.
what I
Sushi
ate.
gave me food poisoning.
Is
before,
probably
too.
what I ate, and then that son of a bitch was sitting out way too long, and that is what gave me food. It was the second and last time I had food poisoning.
Dude, from Deerbergs, I got a California roll one time. This was last year, and I ate like all of it, but like 3 pieces, and I was full. And I was like, I'll just throw this in the fridge. I forgot that it was in there, but it was just the next day, right? My dumb ass. I'm like,
It had bugs on it already.
my dumb ass. I'm like, I'm gonna pop this sushi. You're smoking a little weed, you're looking for some snacks. So I just pop, quick as hell ate these 3 pieces of sushi. Watched whatever program I was watching. I think it was like Clockwork Orange. I think it was a horror movie or something like that. It might have been around that season. Went to bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw up like right now."
Yeah.
Just had to run to the bathroom. I called out of work that day. I was fucked.
Oh yeah.
over.
If I like both times that I had food poisoning were in high school it was basically the very first few months I was in my freshman year, and the very last like month or 2 I had my senior year is when I got food poisoning. KFC and some fucking gourmet bullshit buffet, some Chinese fuck of a place that, and I'm not bashing it because it was Chinese, I'm bashing it because it was sketchy. And it was fucking Cheatham's decision. I always bring him up whenever I fucking bash this place because it was his fucking decision. And it was
you always
bad.
You always throw him under the bus for your food poisoning.
Oh yeah.
He didn't tell you to eat sushi.
Dude, I sure as hell know it was that place. It wasn't when I got back before the Walking Dead finale and made hot wing dip because I've never undercooked that shit in my life, and it'd kind of be hard to fuck up. It was most certainly from that sketchy buffet. There was
it catches up to you hours later.
There was like a little girl that looked like she was fucking 12.
Well, that's the thing.
Running
That
the place.
isn't as much as I
There was
mean.
shit.
I love the Asian community. I love Chinese restaurants. That's not uncommon for a Chinese restaurant. You got kids manning the register
It's what it looked
quite
like.
a bit.
But that place, dude, this place
It's a
was
family.
sketchy.
They're all family-owned businesses.
This place was
basically.
sketchy looking, man. Like, there's just no fucking way. If I was the one that was deciding the lunch that day, there's not a shot in hell. Not a snowball chance in Satan's fucking playground, man. that I would have chosen that fucking place.
Yeah, dude. Now, like, since, and not even, we talk COVID this, COVID that, or whatever, but, like, since all that shit, I am a little more sketched out of, like, buffets. I'm just like, I don't really know, dude. A buffet's not the best idea.
What did I should have said Smirk's quote fucking from like years ago. Not a not a 2-inch dick's chance in a porn. That I would have chosen that place. But yeah, no, buffets, man, back when they were hot, they were great. Like Ryan's buffet, oh man.
Yeah.
You could get a steak all for the price.
I still have like a Golden Corral gift card from a customer from like Christmas from my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I still haven't used it because I'm just like, man, Golden Corral, like I would go there and I would definitely eat a lot of food, but it's sketchy, dude. There's
I mean,
a lot of kids up in there, fucking.
Go really early. Go early in the day that you go, because then it hasn't been sitting out all day. Nobody's touching all of it with their fucking filthy, disgusting
I mean, they
fingers.
replaced the trays and shit, I'm sure.
Well, you know,
But
then what do you sketch out about?
like, I don't know, just families of kids with their
picking their nose and wiping
just
it on
getting up
the
in there
okra and shit.
fucking grabbing at all the chicken and shit.
Oh yeah, well.
Putting their hands in the chocolate fountain. I ain't fucking putting anything in that chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been some gross shit in there. People just putting their fists in there and shit.
Man. No, it was fun. It was a good era, you know. But there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of sketchy food in this country too. I mean, like both that is made here and businesses and other communities, other cultures that like. I'm not saying like but there's certain shit that is made here, or there's like the businesses that are run here that are just. There's just some fucking weird stuff, man. Like it makes you question food, and it's one thing you don't want to mess with, because it's like, man, we gotta eat and everything. You don't want to fuck with people's food.
Yeah.
It's just it gives you a weird feeling, like in the pit of your stomach. You're like, I don't want this shit to fucking poison me.
And you know, like, yeah, they sprayed the shit with all this stuff too, and it's just like,
yeah,
the food we get is definitely, that's why people are so, oh, this is this, but it's like,
I understand why.
Even if you're so adamant that that's what you're getting, like, there's no way of proving that's what you're getting. Even they're so.
I understand.
It all just seems so sketchy.
Like I get more than ever why people grow their own food though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's some people on our route who have like their own chickens and stuff. They'll like give us eggs occasionally, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah. That being said, I get another food topic too.
All right,
what did I say about it? Was egg rolls? Oh fuck, I didn't even answer for it. I don't think. I would say fair, but
they always
usually,
got shit on in like school.
Usually
like
the people
lunch, nobody ever chose the egg roll.
No, I didn't. Not at that time.
I usually didn't.
But,
I would occasionally.
But like a lot of people that don't like them don't like a lot of Chinese food, and I don't even not like Chinese food. I just like, I think I can only have it like a little bit at a time. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna crave it much. Like I'll crave it maybe once every 3 months. You know, and you know it'll be time to have it again. But that's about it for me as far as that goes. I don't know. I like egg rolls though, and crab rangoon. It's good.
Yeah. Like
the teriyaki beef and the sticks and stuff like that, and the different.
Oh yeah.
There's different, and like, you know, chicken and rice, pretty good. There's different things that are fine, and there's things you can, yeah.
Pot stickers.
But yeah, I would probably just say fair. Because I mean they're pretty disliked, but a lot of time, I mean not they're pretty disliked. They're liked a lot too.
Dude,
because most people that eat Chinese food already are willing to eat. It might not be their favorite thing there, but they're willing to eat the egg rolls.
Yeah.
And for most people that don't like them, already probably don't like a lot of Chinese food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you just have a disdain for them, it's like, how do you have a disdain for this, but you think this other thing's great? You don't hear that a lot.
Well, I could see people being like, because it has it's all vegetable filled, so I could see some people being like, I like General Tso's chicken, but fuck that egg roll. Yeah.
Well, General Tso's chicken's pretty good too.
A lot of their chicken's fire, dude. Almost every kind of Chinese chicken's fire.
So
even like lo mein and chicken fried rice, just.
Oh, lo mein's tremendous.
God damn, it's all so good.
I got one more for you on the food aspect though.
All right.
And this actually is. Well, here's the thing, and I do stand by this. The same thing as Domino's used to do, and people would bitch about like their stuff being not as great, and then one day they just they actually did improve all their food to being a lot better like it is now, because it actually is. I think it's really good now, you know. down. I'm not saying it's fucking the highest quality or whatever, but it's for your price.
Well, I think it's
It is. No, it is. It's a great deal. They give you deals all the time on shit too, and it's a really good pizza now. And
They're
their
one of the cheaper
their wings aren't my
options.
favorite, but their other sides, their breads, their garlic knots, their fucking parm bites, like all that kind of stuff. Their sandwiches, tremendous. I'm a wing guy. I mean, I love all those other things too, salad and stuff, pizza. But if I'm gonna get wings, I'm probably not gonna get them from Pizza Hut or Domino's most of the time. Most of the time, I'm gonna get
Pizza
them from
Hut,
other
I
places.
ate a fuckload of their wings because I got them for free.
Did you? Well, that's
You know.
you know that's worth it. Free's always
Just
worth
like an 8-piece boneless
Unless it's
wing
fucking,
you get for free.
it.
But
Sitting out.
I will
Chinese
admit,
food.
overpriced as fuck for Pizza Hut wings if you're gonna pay for them because
Yeah.
like the boneless wings are tiny and they're like $8. It's like Jesus.
Yeah. But those Domino's sandwiches, I had a buffalo chicken one. It was fucking tremendous, man. They're like Philly steak one. I know Alex was talking about. When he
I've
was
heard
on.
they have pretty good sandwiches.
Yeah, they do. I was like, damn, I just took that the next day to work. So I'll weave that right into mine, which is, and I don't think I've ever put this on here, and I don't think you have either, coming to think of it. But once upon a time, I mean, I always liked them, but I think they did improve all their burgers compared to how they used to be, and a lot of their other food too. Burger King.
I really like Burger King.
I liked them growing up, but I don't think their burgers were as good then as they are now. I think they made them a lot better
the
now.
Flame broiled
Yeah.
burgers are so good. I don't like.
They
I don't
improved
know what
all
it
their
is about
stuff.
them. But yeah, since they did this flame broiled thing, they've been pretty damn good. I don't really know what the overall perception of like they've always kind of been, you know,
They're big.
they're below McDonald's obviously. They're like
In terms of
but
overall
they're a
sales.
big like burger chain, but they're not like huge.
They were the challenger brand.
They're never
the
like
number
Burger
one-
King's never slammed though. Ever.
They were the number. I'm not saying in terms of sales, but in terms of like brand. For the longest time, they were like the number one challenger brand. That being like the champion brand was McDonald's.
Yeah.
The challenger brand was fucking Burger King. Like that was the number one thing most people would put up. I'm not saying now, and in terms of sales and marketing and all that. I don't know who the fuck number two is or whatever, but whenever people would compare them, they were always the number one competitor to like the way it was viewed to McDonald's for the longest time.
Say I really like Burger King's food. Their burgers fire.
Yeah.
I
don't
really
get 'em that
did
often.
not like working for Burger King.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're getting paid fucking like
Dirt.
like $7.60 or $8.
Yeah, it was below $8 when I started.
Was it? I got
For
paid
sure.
like $8.05 or $8.10 at Arby's to start.
I think it was like right under 8, and then I got over 8.
But I think here's minimum wage was probably just below Florida, but also Florida's was cost of living was a little above here, so it evened out in the end anyway.
Yeah, dude, it was still to this day when it comes to just overall amount of tasks I had to do in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Burger King was one of the most taxing jobs I had. Just demanded shit out of me the whole fucking time I was there, dude.
Dude, you're busy every single second. Like,
Do
at
this,
a fast
do
food
this,
place.
do this, do, and some of it's hard fucking work.
Or you could be like Arby's, we're fast casual. What the fuck do you mean? I gotta get the burger out the door in 0.6 seconds.
There's nothing casual about this shit.
There's nothing casual about it. They like to act like they were fucking more quality. And Arby's stuff's pretty good too. And so is Burger. Like, I feel like a lot of these places, they probably had no choice because they had so many cases of people getting sick and this and that. Just like Domino's, like everybody. Like, I do feel like Burger King. Like, I ate it and I liked it. Their chicken, their burgers growing up. But I do feel like especially whenever they introduced the flame broiled shit, I think they did improve everything years ago about their menu compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, they're always, like, whenever I was working there too, and even still to this day, like, I don't keep up with as much because I don't work there and I don't order there a whole lot. I don't order I try not to order a whole lot of fast food in general. I mean, but it is one of the places I order from when I order fast food. And I feel like they're always another place that is always trying out new things on their menu.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, whenever I worked there were some things they tried out that were like, this is pretty damn good, and there were some things that were like, this is pretty damn unconventional. When we did grilled dogs, that was a pain in the ass. Fucking trying to serve hot dogs at Burger King, it's like, come on. When we did the Whopperito, it was literally a Whopper that we cut in like 3 parts and make into a burrito with all the toppings and shit and fold it into a burrito. It was like, who the fuck wants a Whopper that's got like the pickles and mustard and onion shit in a damn burrito? This is fucking weird.
Yeah.
nobody's gonna order this more than once. You're gonna order it to try it and be like, that was strange. When we did the tacos though, those are actually kind of fucking good. And I wouldn't think Burger King doing tacos would be good, but I fucking enjoyed them.
I always liked how they had like the ices and shit there. Like that was great.
I would always.
Dude, Burger King always had some fucking fantastic toys growing up too.
Yeah.
Whenever Revenge of the Sith came out,
toys.
they had like we would go there all the time. Me, Harry, my mom, and Corey, and like they would have like a new toy come out for like that movie. They had so many different ones too for like Revenge of the Sith. They were like making damn near every character to come out in that too. And we went there again and again and again that summer when it came out, just to try to get as many as we fucking could.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some good toys back in the days.
They did.
I remember whenever I worked there, I always they gave us employee cups. Looking back on this, dude, the way they ran that shit was fucking tyrannical. And it was horseshit.
Gene will show you how to be a tyrant.
They gave you like little plastic cups that were the employee cups. Everybody had their name on theirs. And you had to fill it up. You could fill it up with the sodas in the lobby or the water. I would always sneak the slushie and they'd get on to me. They're like, you can't get the I'm like, what the fuck does it matter that I'm taking a little bit of the slushie mix for this tiny ass baby cup of fucking. You got me up here scrubbing the goddamn hood, sweating my dick off, and you won't give me a little bit of slushie?
Oh, man. I would always drop, like, just whenever we'd, hey, put 8 Mott's down or 10 jalapeno poppers or whatever. I would always put, like, a few more than I needed to, just so I'd, like, be
I'd always try to sneak food back there, too.
Just so I would be able to eat them. What I always did was once we had, like, the, I forget, and I probably told about it on this already. We never had a buffalo chicken sandwich or buffalo sliders, and then we had that tray to like dip all the sliders in and then put it on the, you know, the small like bread that the sliders been on, you know, the Parmesan peppercorn ranch and everything. But we had that introduced around the same time as the brown sugar bacon, which we put on one of the sandwiches, and I can't for the life of me remember exactly which sandwich it was. So we had just a bunch of the brown sugar bacon that was already like pre-made back there sitting in the fucking trays. I would always take that out and dip it in the hot sauce. The brown sugar bacon and the hot sauce. It sounds weird because it's like spicy and sweet. It was so damn good. Mixing like the spicy and the sweet. Oh man. Yeah. It was so good. I used to do that all the fucking time. The brown sugar bacon and the buffalo sauce.
Yeah. Dude, it was fun though working at places like that. Like, I occasionally do it at Pizza Hut now, but I don't make stuff there a lot because I'm just like, I just ate dinner and I'm also just trying not to eat a whole lot while I'm there. I'm like, you know, it's my Friday evening. I'm not trying to get bogged down. I still want to go home and enjoy myself for a little while and wind down. I don't want to fucking eat a whole pizza.
Yeah.
On accident while I'm here. But it was always fun, like when you work at food places, to just like make your own concoctions out of the ingredients of the shit they have there that's not on the menu, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is fire. I make it all the time this way now.
I was always hoping that I would be able to take some of the stuff that I dropped like home, like the Mott sticks and the poppers, and certain stuff never made it because I'd eat it as I was cleaning the slicer and cleaning up like the back line. I would eat some of that stuff I really wanted. I would almost every night, you could ask Hector or Stevens or Cheyenne or anybody, like I would almost always take home the filet chicken, like the big chicken that we go on everything, and then like the chicken tenders. pretty much every single night I would be bringing those home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd always, they like found it. I would put the cheese warmer. I would make like, I would make like my own cheese cup. And like, just because I would like dip the chicken in the cheese cup, like the tender. I thought it was so good. I was like just dipping that in the hot like nacho cheese. I thought it was great. And I know that sounds like, oh, why wouldn't you dip it in hot sauce or whatever? I was like, because I didn't really get to eat the nacho cheese like during the day much, because that was like really, you didn't have a lot of time and shit.
Stuff's good though. I love it.
But you had to just sit there and push it too. That's the other reason, because you had to hold it on there, otherwise it would stop. And the other sauces, I wouldn't have to worry about that. They were back there with me, and like nobody would see that shit. But the cheese thing, I wouldn't, and I would just do it whenever I would wind down at the end of the night. And he found my fucking manager, the store manager, Darren, would find the damn like a cheese. He found a cheese cup like in the warmer, like there was at least once or twice. I'd be like, who the hell put this in here? And I just had it stashed away in there. And I forgot to take it out because I would almost always remember to pull it out. But there was like a time or two that I forgot, and they were like, what the hell are you doing back here? But, oh man.
Eating cheese, dude.
Yeah, it's, well, like dipping the tenders in the cheese, and I was like, that was so good. Like, I don't know why. Because, like,
nacho cheese is pretty conventional. You can you can put it on a lot of shit. And it'd be good.
And that's what you do. You figure out what goes good with other stuff, and you'd figure out, what, like you were saying, like what things to make with everything.
Yeah. It's always interesting. It's fun.
Snake a couple sliders to Hector. One time I made it in like the shortest time I've ever made it in my life. And like just pulled it out of the mic and just did everything, and then just slid it right up to him, and his hand was ready to grab it.
You guys are just starving.
Yeah, dude, it just sounded, you're in front of all that stuff, and it sounded so good.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it sounded good.
Yeah.
And the chicken, the long chicken tenders would barely fit in the slider boxes because they poke up, and you're like, this thing is, it's gonna go in there all sloppy. Like the chicken sliders were the best sliders in my opinion, at least. Like there was the roast beef, there's the jalapeno roast beef, you could make a specialty turkey one,
Yeah.
you could make ham one, stuff like that. But like the chicken one, I was like, even the regular chicken, the buffalo chicken, those are the best ones we had, I thought. But the problem was that the chicken would kind of look the sloppiest, especially if you put the buffalo on it, because it would just slide all over and the chicken thing would be sticking up. But man, that was some damn good stuff. We were just dissing on how some of the food's, sketchy and everything else, and we're talking about like, hey, I always had a pair of gloves on in the back line where I was touching any of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, we basically always had to. Not that, the hygiene was even like always the best with everybody. Or like, I'm sure there was a time or two where I probably didn't think about it and itched my head. Not with the fingertips, but like with the like wrist parts of the gloves,
Oh,
I'm sure. That's the thing, dude. When you've worked fast food, you're taking that gamble when you're getting it. You're like, this is made by some fucking teenager that's getting by making $8.
It's like Andy was saying on like
$13 now.
It was maybe his like second episode or whatever. And he's just like, he was talking about the fast food process, and he's just like, and some 16-year-old just warmed it up in the microwave.
Yeah.
It's like exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Burger King, dude, I would say it's fair overall. I actually really enjoy the food there. But I feel like the perception of it is pretty decent. There's people that hate on it and diss on it for sure. Like,
I don't get it a lot.
I'll fucking hate Burger King.
But I like it a lot.
Yeah, I don't get it a whole lot either anymore. But like since I've worked there, I crave it occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm just like, damn.
Enough time has definitely passed. Like, and I never, aside from what I ate on the back line, I never really got tired of Arby's sandwiches because I wouldn't order them much. And then like eventually I was given some free meals, and then got hit by that car, and he told me that I'd never have to pay for another meal again there or anything. So I was like, hell yeah. In case I'm ever starving, I could always just go down to fucking the goddamn Arby's down outside of like Winter Park, Castleberry, Florida, and fucking get a free meal. Oh man. But anyway, yeah, it was an interesting time.
Make your way all the way there by bus. So I could get a meal.
Yeah, well, assuming he's still the store manager there, I don't know if he is.
Yeah, that would suck, huh?
It
Make
would.
the trip and then fucking.
I'm gonna tell him, be like, I would kind of be interested to step in there like a long time after now. It's been a long time, man. It's been close to 7 years.
Oh yeah,
It's
dude.
getting
I've
there.
only went through the Burger King drive-through that I used to work at like twice since I worked there, and it's in the town that I still deliver pizza in like once a week.
Yeah.
But I don't like stopping by places I used to work at all that much either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go there all the fucking time, that's for sure.
No.
South County Target, I try to avoid that just because, like, I like a lot of the people that worked there. I really did enjoy my time there, but it's like, I'm not many days when I'm like, I'm trying to shop right now. Do I want to go to a place where I feel like I'm going to run into people I know and have a conversation over and over and over?
Well, besides, it's not like the nearest one to you either.
No.
So it's like
Not anymore. It's one of the closer ones though now.
Yeah.
That and Kirkwood are like the closest.
Well, you're right next to the one on Hampton. It's pretty fucking. It's really
It's
close.
pretty close too. Really, all three of them are pretty close in distance. Like Kirkwood's right up the road from me too. Yeah. Well, we're getting carried away. We're
Yeah.
talking
No,
about
you're
our
good.
own
I was
lives,
just
you
like,
know?
damn, I'm gonna look at the fucking thing. I could talk about food. We know that. This is how we always used to
Been
end
going
it.
on
with
about our
food.
old jobs. It always happens. Like when you start reminiscing about things like that, you can just it turns into a ramble. Can't help it.
Well, I think it's about a day.
Yep.
I think it's about time to lay down and sleep and get ready for the next one.
Face the heat again.
Yep.
We're in it now. Buckle up.
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna get too bad until a month from now.
Well, a lot of people
The
said
next
the
2 months.
patterns. June was going to be one of the worst. Like the end of June is going to be some of the worst this summer. Is what some of the meteorology was predicting. But we'll see. I don't know. Today was probably the roughest day so far.
You know how that fucking weather prediction goes.
Yeah. It was like we wrapped up out there. It was like 94. Felt like 99. I'm like, yeah, we're here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking with us through 5 years. This is our follow-up to our big old 5-year anniversary, and we hope everybody's doing well out there. And it is, I guess we're going to be officially into summer whenever we hit them with their next episode, which if you're hearing this one, it's probably already summer.
Yep.
So,
That's true.
take it easy out there. Stay hydrated. Stay cool.
Have a good one.
Have a good time. And we will see you on the next episode of Casting the Spotlight. Take care of yourselves out there and be good.